Good evening, I'm Brady Alderson, and the Sports Ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. Bergen Riley was named Big Ten Setter of the Week today for the 11th time in her career after another dominant weekend from the Huskers. Bergen helped set Nebraska to a .412 hitting percentage on the weekend. Riley also picked up 26 assists against Penn State and then added 15 more against Rutgers en route to Nebraska's 5th consecutive sweep. The Huskers improved to 14-0 and will head back home for a Friday matchup against the Washington Huskies. Bergen Riley wasn't the only Husker to win Big Ten honors this weekend. Deshaun Singleton was named Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week after his 6-tackle, 2-interception performance against Michigan State. It's the first time since 2021 a Husker has earned Big Ten Defensive Weekly honors. It was also the first multi-interception game in Singleton's career and the first time any Husker has had 2 interceptions in a single game since 2023. And with the 6 tackles this weekend, Singleton has moved to second on the team with 23. Single game tickets for the Huskers men's basketball team went live today at 3 p.m. Those can be purchased online at huskers.com/tickets or by calling the Nebraska Athletics ticket office. Tickets will be starting around $15 a piece. You can check out your 2025-26 Huskers basketball team in action at PBA next Saturday, October 18th for an exhibition match against BYU. The Sports Sticker was brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the retirement compass. Visit stonebridgeiwm.com. Coming up next is the first hour of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Well, Eckley is inside his own 15. Barney at the Husker 30. Snap back to Eckley. It's blocked. Con blocked it. It's picked up. Carter Nelson. Touchdown, Huskers. They came right at it. Nelson picked it up. 13-0 Scarlet and the Cream. Keelan Smith, the motion man from left to right. Snap. Quick screen near left. Leaping catch from Hunter. Leaks through. Breaks an ankle tackle. There he goes. Hunter 40. 35-30. Hunter all the way. That just might be your dagger.
Back right swing by Kennedy Martin. Dug by Bergen. She can do it all. 23-13 Huskers right side swing. Virginia Adriano. Kaboom! Putting dents in the rec hall deck. It's 24-13.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
We're not trying to prove anything to anybody. That's the biggest thing for us. Our guys have done a good job of blocking out everything. I mean, we're trying to play good football, and it's really hard. Like, the Big Ten is hard. I think the biggest thing is we just keep hanging in there and playing, but I think this is a game in previous years we would have lost.
Harburg takes a snap, handoff, Riola, and an end-around handoff. Johnson near left, sweeps the edge. Trickery to perfection. Touchdown. 3 yards on the right-to-left run from Emmett Johnson. The balloons soar to the heavens. It's the Huskers 6, Spartans nothing. What a drive to kick off homecoming.
We came out, we said we were going to block a punt. Credit to Jameer Khan. Like he prepared all week to block that punt.
Well, Eckley is inside his own 15. Barney at the Husker 30. Snap back to Eckley. It's blocked. Con blocked it. It's picked up. Carter Nelson. Touchdown, Huskers. They came right at it. Nelson picked it up. 13-0 Scarlet and the Cream.
We really talked about it all week. Every guy was coming up to me saying I was going to block it. You guys believe in me. I'm just thankful to be here.
1 of 5 on third down is Michigan State from their own 41-39. 3 right, 1 to the left. Snap to Childs. Back to pass. 4-man rush. Floats it right. Too tall. It's intercepted. On a tumble to Sean Singleton. Has his second career pick at the 45 of the Spartans. There's your big play for the Black Shirts.
On the sideline, I've seen our team come together as one. We've been through a lot of adversity, and our team's been through a lot. So, we know the defense had our back earlier on, and we know that we got to go out there and make plays. So we brought it up as an offense, and we just said we got to go execute one play at a time, and then make the winning play when the head is on your head. So that's what we did.
Johnson the single back, snap from under center, handoff Johnson, swerves right to the numbers, 20, 15, 10, foot race, touchdown, Huskers, EJ, 23 yards, swerving to Pater. And the Huskers a point after away from tying this thing up. Life indeed.
We were just really focusing on what we got to work on throughout the bye week. So it was really a great feeling that we got this dub and we just held to the end. And obviously my touchdown was great as well. And I think we just really needed that. We just needed this win to just give us that courage again to keep winning.
Keelan Smith, the motion man from left to right. Snap. Quick screen near left, leaping catch from Hunter, leaks through, breaks an ankle tackle. There he goes, Hunter 40, 35, 30. Hunter all the way. That just might be your dagger.
What I told him, I said, Coach, I said, I got blood in my eyes. We're going to win this football game, and I wasn't going to let it slip away. And so, it's something you train for in the whole offseason. You wait for a moment like that, so you got to jump on it when you get it. 2nd and 4, handoff, Johnson up the middle, swerves into the end zone. Touchdown, Huskers. The exclamation point and the hat trick for AJ. 3rd touchdown for 21. It's 37-21 with 4:27 to go.
We just kept battling and fighting. That's been my challenge to our guys. 60 minutes of us playing hard is going to be hard for teams to withstand. And in the end, it's basically a 17-point win.
Snap to Childs, back to pass. Backside pressure comes. He got blown up. Cam Lenhart. Oh, he crushed Childs. Back of the 17. And he might have just called game.
It was good just to see the team we have, you know what I'm saying? Knowing that, every week teams going to come to play, but we know what we have. We know how it has to look. Good special teams, good offense, good defense. We all got to come together and play out how we played every week. And just come to play every week, we're going to come out victorious.
And happy Monday, everybody. Welcome into Sports Nightly. Kyle, I love doing these shows following Husker wins on Saturday.
It's good to win. It feels good to win. And we used the phrase a couple times on the broadcast on Saturday by the late great Al Davis, just win, baby, because it's hard to win, as we saw around college football this weekend. We saw how games can change on a dime. We didn't think that it would be 21-14 Michigan State after Carter Nelson blocked the punt, was in the end zone, and it was 14-0 in the snap of a finger. Everything, that opening drive, you go down the field and you're able to, with a trick play and a handoff to Emmett Johnson, who had a big day, and go up 6-0 right away. And, the win was a factor. There's a reason we continue to talk about it a lot. And we talked about it all week. There was up to 35-mile-per-hour gusts, and it was a pretty consistent 19-mile-per-hour wind. And whenever you were going to the south end of the stadium, up until the final minute or so of the third quarter on that big pass to Corey Barney, Nebraska just could not do anything against the wind. So credit for them. It was a gutty win, and it was a game that Nebraska in the past, they just have not won it very often.
Going to talk lots of Husker football here coming up over the next couple hours. Damon Benning set to join us here at the top of hour number 2. We're going to hear from Andrew Marshall, one of the key players and the reason why this Nebraska pass defense is still the best in the country. Also, Matt Rhule met with the media today. We'll play a few clips from that here coming up in just a few minutes. So going to talk lots of football, but I also wanted to give a huge shout out to Nebraska Volleyball. What a weekend, what a performance. Watch the Penn State match, and man, I think that's the best they've looked all season. You could say whatever you want about Penn State not having their setter figuring things out. They still have some really, really great players. It's still a really, really tough place to play. It's still a rivalry, and Nebraska was clicking on all cylinders. There's been times that they've dominated that, Danny has come in here and maybe talked about maybe the defense wasn't up to par, or maybe the defense was good and maybe the offense wasn't as good. But that was as impressive of a performance, I think, as we've seen from this group. You could tell they were on a mission. Rebecca Alec joked she had some revenge on the mind, and I would say that she satisfied that revenge on Friday night.
Yeah, what I like about her is she hasn't shied away from that. No. A lot of athletes like to tiptoe around the fact that you're in for revenge. No, we're here to win. We're here to make a statement. This is the team that knocked us out last year. Of course, we're here to win and win big. And boy, were they ever! And coaches and players, sometimes they don't say that certain games or matches mean more than others. This one meant a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. And I told my dad that too. It's funny that you said that, because we were watching that. My parents were in town, and I said, what I think is so refreshing and great about this team, this volleyball team is there's a lot of times that you're trying to be protective of the things that you say, and you don't want to get the bulletin board material and, oh, it's about this season, we don't care about last season, or, well, we'll see but they're embracing all of that, and they're talking about it, and not just about the revenge with Penn State, but they're talking about, we want to win a national title, and if we don't, that's a disappointment. And so you don't always get that out of teams, but that just goes to show you the confidence, and this team is willing to kind of embrace those high expectations, and they're not afraid to get up there and talk about those things.
And they saw another team in Penn State that's trying to make some adjustments without one of their most important players, and I think you saw that. And on the road, for you to, usually that's when a team probably has the most life, or even if you're an underdog, you have the most juice in that first set coming out with the crowd. And the fact that you win that set 25-6, I mean, that was unlike anything that you'll ever see. And you look at some of the numbers from that match. So Penn State's 34 total points. That's the fewest they've scored in a match since 2001. And that was the first time they were swept at home since September 24th of 2022. And this Husker team, nobody is underestimating what they can do, right? And then they go to Rutgers on Sunday. They have the largest ever crowd in New Jersey history for a volleyball match. And to see all the Huskers in that New York City metropolitan area that come out, like it's not all Husker fans that are driving from Nebraska or flying from Nebraska or surrounding states around here. No, there's a huge Husker contingent around that metropolitan area. And to see them set that record, it was a easy 8,000 that they stuffed in what I like to call the rack back in the day. It used to be called, now it's Jersey Mike's Arena.
Yeah, and Lindsey Peterson has talked about that multiple times when the team has gone to Rutgers. It is one of those ones that the huge fan base in that area, they come to. There's so many records now that other places can claim, but they wouldn't have those records without Nebraska, No. So that's one of those.
It's a great point you bring up, because I was looking at Rutgers volleyball Twitter. It popped up. My algorithm had their tweet pop up saying, "Well, thank you fans for this record." And
thank you, Nebraska.
It's a picture of Rutgers fans. Clearly, we know why that record was set, but that almost feels like it sets up for some sort of neutral site event. When you want to build the game, you want to build it in different, like it's huge in the Midwest, it's huge in Nebraska. Can you get it even bigger in the Northeast? Can you see Nebraska eventually play a future neutral site event somewhere in New York City, where maybe they have it at the Garden or Barclays Center or somewhere that's a big venue to have an event like that really elevates the game? I think you could do that with Nebraska.
It's a great idea, Kyle. Maybe we should start
planning that.
I'll talk
to Troy. Let me talk to Troy.
Yeah. I had seen, someone told me that the match before Nebraska, maybe they had like 500 fans. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. But so it just goes to show you that you could thank Nebraska. You should have put a little asterisk at the bottom of that graphic and said, "Thank you, Husker fans," too.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the biggest brands in women's sports. When you think of UConn women's basketball, you think of Tennessee women's basketball, South Carolina, Iowa basketball, when Caitlin Clark was there. Like it's at that level. They could go anywhere in this country, any corner of this country, and sell it out.
They've done it. They've done it every year. They'll continue to do it this season as well. All right, we'll talk lots more volleyball coming up tomorrow night in the 6 o'clock hour. We will have Danny Busboom-Kelly, John Baylor live here in studio in the 6 o'clock hour, diving into the weekend, also previewing the week ahead. So should be a fun show, as it always is, but especially fun coming off that kind of dominant performance over the weekend. But I did want to go back and talk the win over Michigan State for Husker football. We'll hear from the head coach here coming up in just a few minutes, but look, I know at times it wasn't always pretty. Obviously, there was a stretch, I couldn't believe it, like 40 minutes that the offense sat that before they got back out there, the long drive with Michigan State with the special team score and in between. But sometimes you just got to find ways to win. And, I think there's still several positives, as much as, and even Coach Rhule's the first to admit, look, we've got to get better. We're not, by no means are we a perfect football team, but there's a lot of positives I think this team can take moving forward. And I go back to those last couple of drives for the offensive line and how dominant they were there to close out in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do. Find a way to win close games in the fourth quarter. Again, this program, echo it, has not done that in the last 10 years. And Coach Rhule said, that second quarter was probably one of the worst stretches of football that he's ever been a part of. Like, he said that today at his press conference, and it's hard to argue that. I think offensively, you just kept chopping away at it. Dylan was frustrated at certain points. He said post game he had the red in his eyes, like he was fiery. And the fact that he was able to keep his emotions in check, I think the biggest play of the game was that 3rd and 10, final minute of the third quarter. I mean, Nebraska had 77 total yards of offense going near the final minute of the third quarter. The fact that you're even in a football game when that's the case, because also your defense on the flip side, while they made mistakes, they allowed Aiden Childs to get out and make some plays with his feet, including that 16-yard touchdown run. Still issues getting teams off the field on 4th down, too. I think that was an issue. You had opportunities to have even more momentum-changing plays. But the plays they did make, whether it's Deshaun Singleton, a couple of interceptions, only had 1 in his career previous. You had 12 tackles for loss. You were able to get after the quarterback. So you made some game-changing plays defensively that were able to sort of keep your mindset right. And then offensively, you guys were chipping away. And then eventually the Huskers were able to find a way with Emmett Johnson, who had a big day, to have one of those scores, that 23-yarder, and then eventually put the game away. So credit to the Huskers. 4 quarters. You got to play for 4 quarters, 60 minutes. It's an old cliche, but if you didn't, you find yourselves at 3-2 as opposed to 4-1.
Listen, and we've talked about this, but there's been times the past few seasons that wouldn't have gone that way. So I think, you do have to just also another thing that I think has been said a lot. Coach Rhule said it. You guys were talking about it on the broadcast. Just take a look around college football. There's a lot of teams that didn't get wins, and so I think at this point in this day and age with the sport, you're thankful for those wins, and then you move forward on to the next.
I think you're moving in the right direction from a defensive front. I think defensive line made some really good plays. I think Williams Winery is a stud.
Yeah.
Everything about you mentioned the tangible gifts that he has coming here. He's an NFL body type. And he's starting to look at, he's big time. Elijah Judy had his first career sack. The secondary it's hard to not put them in the argument. They're the best in the country right now. And these quarterbacks are going at them. And you've played some really good ones. Aiden Childs, Bryce Underwood, Brendan Sorsby. You've had some guys that have wanted to get the ball downfield, and Sierra Wright has had one of the better seasons, I think, in the country, making a position switch with the injury to Malcolm Hartzog and bumping him inside to nickel. Donovan Jones has been one of the more impressive players on this defense. Andrew Marshall was one of the best transactional pieces that you brought in through, I like to call it free agency, but transfer portal. And then Javen Wright played one of the best games of his career in what was only his 7th or 8th career start. There's a lot of guys that are playing much better, and there's a lot of guys I didn't mention defensively. And so a lot of good that you take away from that win.
And listen, you do not win that game without the play of the Coach Eckler on his birthday in the special teams unit, and not just one part of the special teams. There were big-time plays, game-changing plays on several units. The punt returns for Corey Barney, the block punt and return for a touchdown with Jameer Khan and Carter Nelson. There were the recovery, the kickoff recovery with Makai Nelson. There were huge plays that special teams helped. Absolutely. I don't know. They probably don't win that game without them.
15th in the country in special teams rating right now. We thought that group would be better because of Coach Eckler, but we didn't think they'd be that much better. 3 areas that this team has taken a huge jump: turnover margin, penalties, and special teams. That's how you win close games, and they're going to be in a lot of them in the Big Ten.
Coach Eckler was having some fun down there.
And he should. Him and Butler are just 2 crazy people that belong in football for the rest of their lives, and they're great at what they do.
Coach Rhule told me, Coach, of the TV show, we were laughing about it. He said that he told him, I think 6 or 7 times on the sideline, it's his birthday. Coach Eckler did.
Yeah, they put the speech out on social media. If you haven't seen it, Coach Eckler had a nice little speech after the game saying, I think it was the best birthday he ever had. So,
well, they played well for him. And the thing is that unit also, as good as they've been, you could tell the way that the attention to detail. I've talked to you guys about this on the broadcast, but they come over immediately. They dive into the film. They are taking a lot of pride in it. They are mad when things don't go the way they expect them to. that unit, I think, has not even come close to the ceiling that they're hitting either in a lot of different phases as well.
And credit to you. You mentioned Carter Nelson on special teams last week about how he's making his presence felt when necessarily he hasn't seen the number of snaps offensively. A scoop and score did have that block in the back on the punt return touchdown, and he had accountability of that in the post game. But Jameer Khan, they said he was going to block a punt all week long. They've been repping it. Him coming off the edge, he had a tip punt earlier this year, but for him to see that, realize what he'd been practicing all week, and to get that block punt turn into 6, special teams is a big-time factor for this team.
Yeah, Carter Nelson told me, he said, I'm happy to get the score, but I'm not even thinking about that because I caused us not to have a punt return, so I want to apologize to Ja'Cory Barney for that one. So he was more upset about that one than he was excited about scoring his second career touchdown.
Yeah, it's an unselfish group that has the right mindset, and that mindset only has to sharpen now, Jess, because you have 2 very big road games. A lot of things can change if you go on the road and you're flat at Maryland, and we saw Wisconsin, how flat they were when they took on Maryland, and they're a very dangerous team. You're playing a couple of dangerous teams on the road the next 2 weeks.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. All right, got to get to a break. Coming up next, we're going to hear from the head coach, Matt Rhule. He met with the media today, so we'll play you a few of the highlights from his press conference today. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit GoCurrency.com and apply today.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
You show up for every Husker game because it's about more than football. It's about celebrating that Nebraska grit that's in our DNA. That same drive pushes you to get stronger, move more, and take care of yourself. To show up for the people and moments that matter most. We believe you have what it takes. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska covers preventive care with every plan. And our digital tools help you stay on track every step of the way. Blue believes in what you're made of. And Blue believes in you.
Hey Husker fans, every grower's got that game-winning play. Maybe it's upgrading that old pivot, switching up the play with smart tech, or controlling water like a pro. Valley Irrigation's putting $100,000 on the line to back 2 growers ready to score big. This is your chance to get that $75K or $25K irrigation grant, plus a $50 parts or service voucher just for logging in. Don't sit on the sidelines. Visit valleyirrigation.com/Huskers. That's valleyirrigation.com/Huskers.
Since 1975, Woodhouse has proudly served our customers and communities. From one dealership to over 21 dealerships across Nebraska and Iowa, our promise remains the same. A wide selection of vehicles, trusted service, and financing that fits your life. We believe in honest people, fair prices, and relationships built to last. Because it's not just about the road ahead, it's about traveling it together. Start your journey at woodhouse.com.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Reliable energy service wherever you need it. Whether it's propane, fuels, or lubricants, Central Valley Ag delivers with reliability and care you can count on. From your farm to your home or your business, CVA Energy is your trusted partner for agricultural, commercial, and residential energy solutions. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
At Hogemeyer, we're raising the bar on yield performance, bringing world-class traits and genetics to these local fields with the exceptional corn rootworm control and proven powerful yields of new Vorceed-less corn. The unsurpassed flexibility and protection against above-ground pests with Power Core-less corn and other next-gen corn hybrids built to perform and boost your yields. It's time to raise a better crop. View Hogemeyer products at therightseed.com.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining built Ford tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
Welcome back to Sports Nightly. So Jess got so mad at me that she left. She ran away, but she will be back for the start of the second hour. She just stormed out of the studio, slammed the door. She's going to be back, though, start of the second hour. We can't wait to have Jessica Coody back. But Kyle Crooks back with you here on Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network. Big homecoming weekend getting set for back-to-back games coming up on the road. First Maryland, then Minnesota. It's a big stretch here in the Huskers season. Of course, big fourth win of the year against Michigan State. And, boy, you hear it a lot. It's a game that Nebraska doesn't win often the way that it went, right? You're up 14-0. That lead gets salted away. Before you know it, you look up at the scoreboard, and what you thought was inconceivable, no possible way it could happen, but you fall behind by a touchdown. Credit this team in the wind and the elements and the adversity that they went through here in this matchup with Michigan State. They found a way, and it starts with the quarterback who went through his ups and downs but found a way in that final drive of the third quarter, leading into the fourth, eventually leading to an Emmett Johnson touchdown to eventually tie the game and then go ahead. But Matt Rhule took the podium today talking to the assembled media, and who cares what I think? Let's go to Matt Rhule and what he thought about this matchup against Michigan State.
I saw a lot of good things, and I saw some other things, that have to be improved. Some of the sacks are, on them. Some of the sacks are on other people, like that. I think it's just, I think right now Emmett Johnson is third in the league in rushing, right? So the narrative that's out there that we can't run the football is kind of silly, right? We're just, college football, you take away sacks. Are we giving up too many sacks? Yes. I mean, on one of them, that's what I love about Dylan Rhule. He stands up on the one. I don't know if you guys, he went, that's on me. He was holding the ball, right? A third down sack doesn't really bother me as much as a first and second down sack. And because, I mean, you know, if you just hurry up and get the ball in your hand and don't get the first down anyway, like you're punting the ball. Now, we don't want sack fumbles. So, yeah, there was just some times there, as we all saw, that things kind of got a little out of whack and out of kilter. And, you know, we have to be better. But I don't think it's like this, oh, my gosh, we can't block anybody. You know, we had 9 plays, I think 38 yards in the first quarter. We had a horrific second quarter, unlike anything I've ever been a part of. All right, so let's call it what it was. But we had a 104-yard third quarter. We had a 103-yard fourth quarter. So, you know, it's on pace to be about a 420-yard day. You know what I'm saying? It's just we just didn't play well there for a while. What I was happy about was that the guys just kept playing. They didn't panic. I mean, you know, we have the ball in the red zone, and if you guys go back and watch the All-22, Dane Key runs an over route. He's wide open. It's a walk-in touchdown, and they blitz the safety. And not that we can't block him, just the left tackle just busts, doesn't block him, right? It's just a mental error. So we fixed the mental error. We keep coaching, right? It's kind of what we've been talking about all year, just trying to improve what we're doing. Some of them, the quarterback's trying to hold on, trying to make a play. And if you want to live with the great plays, you have to live with some of those plays too. So we'll keep getting better. But the narrative like, hey, we can't block anybody, I mean, we got to block better. But we're blocking people. We just got to be more consistent.
Yeah, interesting the assessment from what maybe I thought from the naked eye of when the game was happening and the evaluation of the offensive line. And Coach Rhule said it there, and if you're somebody who subscribes or pays attention to Pro Football Focus, the grades were pretty good for the tackles in this game. There were just some really bad moments for Pritchett and Catula. Pritchett was making his first Husker start, of course, had experience more at right tackle at Alabama, but playing left tackle, that's what they brought him here to do, and that's why he's getting paid the money he is. And Gunnar Catula was moving to a new position at right tackle, his first ever start at right tackle. He played left tackle all of last year when he had his opportunities. But so when you look at the evaluation and what Coach Rhule had said, yeah, they actually blocked up front a little bit better than maybe you thought. Missed opportunities, too. That's one thing that he mentioned. The average starting field position for the Huskers in this game was their own 47. I could think of maybe 4 different times throughout the game where they started on the plus side of the 50, and they weren't able to capitalize. That's got to change moving forward, starting with Maryland on the road. Talk about taking a step forward. When you look at that front 7, specifically that front 3 or 4 on the defensive line, how have they taken a step forward? Here's the coach on that.
I think I said earlier in the year, like, as the season goes on, they will, like, you can practice and practice and practice, but until you play in some games, you start seeing, like, man, I can't get off a block. Then all of a sudden you start seeing, like, you start walking out. I go out at night, every night, like 6 o'clock, and I sit out on the balcony because there's not a balcony by my office. The assistant coaches all have balconies. So I just go sit outside their offices and just kind of hold court for a little bit. And you look out there, there's usually someone out there working, doing some extra work, And so when they start getting into games, they start saying, hey, I need to do this. But, we stopped the run, right? So that's a positive storyline, right? This is a running football team, and we stopped the run and turned it into a drop-back game. Now, credit to Childs, like, to 2 short fields, man, he made some plays running around that bother you. But on the one sack, like the effort that Waneri had, like, he spun around 3 times to get the guy. Elijah Judy just keeps getting better in practice and pass rushing. So, I thought they made a real step and stopped the run and then turned into a passing game. I thought Waneri was like special in the game. I thought McCullough was special in the game. I thought, the inside guys. Then we got some, like David Huffkin gets in the game for the first time ever. He's playing well. So I think Terry and Phil Simpson are doing a good job with those guys.
And I said last week, to that point of some of the guys he pointed out that had really good weeks, I said Deshaun McCullough has to be somebody that stands out. And I think he did. Michigan State had all sorts of issues when it came to injuries on their offensive line, especially their left tackle. And that lent itself to Deshaun McCullough having a big week at the jack position. And Elijah Judy, we've said it now probably the first 4 games leading up to this homecoming matchup. They needed to see more from their front 3, but specifically Elijah Judy right in the middle. I think you got more of that. He had his first career sack in the game that actually sent Aiden Childs to the sideline, who was pretty shaken up, couldn't finish the game. They went to their backup, and that was the final scoring drive of the day for Michigan State that I'm sure chapped Nebraska and the Black Shirts that they were able to score and make it 38-27. But again, credit this defense, averaged 2.2 yards per rush. That's a long cry from what you saw 2 weeks ago against Michigan when you allowed those 3 explosive play touchdowns, and then you continue to be what you are on the back end, consistent. We said that this was the secondary for Nebraska was going to be their strength, right? Because they have all this veteran experience. So we knew when you said, okay, where are we going to have our eyes peeled throughout this season where we think they're going to be the best? That's at the safety position specifically. And then I think the corners, at least for me, have outperformed the expectations of what I thought that they possibly could do, especially with a young guy, Donovan Jones, a redshirt freshman who's been jolted into a starter with the injury to Malcolm Hartzog. Sierra Wright bumping inside to the nickel. What he's done, he's been one of the more impressive cover guys in the country, along with Andrew Marshall and Donovan Jones. Credit to Rex Guthrie as well. Deshaun Singleton, who was announced Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week with 2 interceptions this week as well. So it is a deep group in the back end, but an improving group on the front end. He mentioned Williams-Nwaneri. Boy, he was all over the place. Everything that you thought in terms of an NFL body type for him. And for a hometown guy from Missouri to let him go, that I'm sure you could scratch your head on that one. The fact that he's not a Missouri Tiger anymore and that Nebraska was able to bring him in here. He's an absolute, what we thought he could be, the ceiling of an absolute game changer. He's been exactly that. Coming up, we'll hear more cuts from today from Matt Rhule. We'll talk about special teams, what he sees in Maryland. That'll be a tough matchup coming up. And then the importance of certain things that you need when you travel, because this is the first true road trip for the Huskers. That's coming up next here on Sports Nightly.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
You show up for every Husker game because it's about more than football. It's about celebrating that Nebraska grit that's in our DNA. That same drive pushes you to get stronger, move more, and take care of yourself. To show up for the people and moments that matter most. We believe you have what it takes. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska covers preventive care with every plan. And our digital tools help you stay on track every step of the way. Blue believes in what you're made of. And Blue believes in you.
Hey Huskers, what would you do with up to $75,000 to upgrade your irrigation game? Automate that tough corner of your farm, add remote monitoring, or finally swap out that old pivot? Valley Irrigation just kicked off a bold $100,000 grant backing growers with real plays. 2 big awards, 1 chance to turn your irrigation challenge into a game-winning drive. See the playbook at valleyirrigation.com/Huskers. Just log in and grab an instant $50 Valley parts or service voucher. Here's the snap, valleyirrigation.com/Huskers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear weekend, Toyota trucks are raring to go. Gearing up for fall, Tundra is all in for hauling. Campers, ATVs, you know Tundra's got the muscle to move it. Going off the beaten path? Tacoma says, let's do this. With handling that tackles tough trails and the backbone to take you where the pavement can't. Both trucks pack sweet tech, posh cabins, and Toyota's legendary reliability. So whether it's a fishing trip at dawn, tailgate at noon, or a remote sunset at, well, sunset, these trucks are built to make every weekend epic. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Preparation is the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pregame routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
Since 1975, Woodhouse has proudly served our customers and communities. From one dealership to over 21 dealerships across Nebraska and Iowa, our promise remains the same. A wide selection of vehicles, trusted service, and financing that fits your life. We believe in honest people, fair prices, and relationships built to last. Because it's not just about the road ahead, it's about traveling it together. Start your journey at woodhouse.com.
Sports Nightly is brought to you by Choices Treatment Center. If you or someone you know is struggling with problem gambling, free treatment is available in Nebraska. Call Choices 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300 for more information. Offices in Lincoln and Columbus. Kyle Crooks back with you here on Sports Nightly. Jessica Coody is on assignment. She will be back in about 14 minutes' time. But she did angrily kick down the door, and it's off the hinges because she's very mad at me, but we'll be back together in the second hour. We look forward to that. Damon Benning also will be with us. Andrew Marshall will be coming up in the second hour as well. Continuing some of the thoughts from the head coach, Matt Rhule, earlier today. Special teams make special plays and have special players, and they've been just that so far. Here's the coach on that.
I think you'd have to start with Mike. You know what I mean? I think he's brought like an energy to it, but I don't want to minimize it because I think everyone he might get mad at me for saying that. I think everyone sees like the jumping around in the locker room and all that stuff. That's not what it is. It's his teaching progressions are amazing. His attention to he truly uses on his interview I had to tell him to stop because he uses the Socratic method where he's consistently asking you questions and making you respond and think. And I was like, heck, I can't do this, bro. It's like an hour of this. Please do it, because it was me and Snow interviewing him. But I think it's great because you go to his meetings and everyone's dialed in and everyone's locked in. Here's how I knew it. It was like, I don't think it was Thursday or Friday. Sat was like, man, I can't wait for Jameer. They're going to come out and they're going to line up like this. We're going to check to this, and Jameer's going to ice stun the guy. I mean, that's like when your tight ends coach is saying this is what's going to happen in the game. It's because it's been taught so well. And then I think then the energy and the passion of it, he inspires belief, and he has your back if you do make a mistake. like we told Jameer, I personally told Jameer, which is not the way I am. And I'm pretty proud of the fact right now that we're 15th in the country in penalties, because that's not the way it was the first 2 years. But I said, hey, if you run in the punter, you run the punter. Like, I don't care. Go block the kick. Like, just wanted to free him up. So I think Ek's teaching progression is elite. I don't want to minimize the impact of Brett Maher, because when you have specialists, and the specialist has somebody who's done it, that they can. The last thing, because for 10 years of my career, it was like me being like, come on, put it through the upright. Like, what do I know about it? It's like me talking about some other golf swing, right? So you got Brett over there, and he's like, even like some of the things Brett taught me this year, like early on, we weren't making like real long kicks. And Brett was like, no, Coach, we're being consistent here. Now we'll start to work back. He's just so patient with it. I really blame myself that I probably should have kicked some more kicks in games 2 and 3 before the fourth game, instead of going for it, because I was trying to be respectful of the opponent, but I should have probably kicked a few more. But so anyway, I think it's Ek. I think it's Brett Maher. I think the job that Nick and Josh do to help Ek. And I think our players are super bought into it. Yeah, they love the fact that we're making plays.
Boy, what a difference a year makes when it comes to that third phase of the game, and that's the difference in one-score games in the Big Ten. You heard Coach Rhule reference penalties, that top 15 and fewest penalties per game, a turnover margin of +6, and special teams, you blocked technically your second block punt of the year. They had given one to Jameer Khan on the tip against Houston Christian, but you're able to score on special teams, pick up a fumbled kick return as well with the wind playing issues. And then Ja'Cory Barney, who has been incredible, 192 punt return yards this year. That's the most in about 11 years for Husker. So he has been sensational, and that entire phase has been sensational. All right, coming up, first true road test. That's Maryland. What does Coach see in the Terps coming up?
Good players. I mean, they got a dynamic young quarterback, 5-star recruit, who's athletic, but who's a passer. When you have that combination of you're a passer first and you look to throw, but you're also athletic, it extends plays. They hit a lot of deep balls. Their wideouts, 1, 4, and 5 can run. 5 can really run. So they're explosive. That it's the passing game for them that's really opened up, and they can run the football too. Don't get me wrong, but it's just there are some challenges there. We're pretty good pass defense, so it should be a good matchup. Then you flip it, they have a bunch of high effort rushers that are relentless, and so their pass rush is pretty elite, which is why they're so good on third down. And we just talked about our ability to create and build and defend a great pocket. So that'll be a key matchup there. And then special teams, we've blocked 3 kicks this year. Jameer Khan has, I think he has a block and a tipped. So that's 2 blocks for him, I guess. Every week I go into Ek, I'm like, hey, I want to block a punt. I want to block punts. We're doing a great job of returning them, but, trying to find design ways to block punts. They do a great job special teams wise, but Ek will always find a way. And Jameer, when you have 2 block punts in your first 5 games at this level, was it 5 games, right? That's pretty impressive. And so we'll continue to try to find ways to get Jameer open. Ja'Cory's doing a good job returning. So, just continue to build off what we're doing special teams wise, which will be a key factor in a game like this.
Yeah, Maryland has a really good true freshman quarterback in Malik Washington, who doesn't necessarily look to run, but he can. He has 3 rushing touchdowns this year, and he has an incredibly high ceiling. Did not play well in the second half against Washington in what was an epic collapse against the Washington Huskies at home. So it's going to be a tough spot against a Maryland team that is very good against the run. They get after the quarterback. They have 19 sacks this year. That's 4th in the country, 35 tackles for loss. So you see where Nebraska's had some issues, whether it's protection or Dillon holding on to the ball too long, and you see the sacks as a result. That could be an issue. Also, when you look at travel, you want to make sure that you get there safe and sound, and they'll get there a day early. The importance that Coach Rhule mentioned for travel is the amount of food that these guys are eating. Get in the city early. I think they thought it'd be a 11 a.m. Central Time noon game, but for them, they'll get there early, get situated in the hotel, and get ready to go. We'll wrap it up. Our final segment of Sports Nightly is coming up after this.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked.
My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series. Built Ford Tough.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
You show up for every Husker game because it's about more than football. It's about celebrating that Nebraska grit that's in our DNA. That same drive pushes you to get stronger, move more, and take care of yourself. To show up for the people and moments that matter most. We believe you have what it takes. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska covers preventive care with every plan. And our digital tools help you stay on track every step of the way. Blue believes in what you're made of. And Blue believes in you.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
As the world's largest family-owned and operated manufacturer of grain storage, drying, and handling equipment, Sukup Manufacturing Company has led the way in innovation, offering top-quality products that empower farmers to thrive. Get ready to tackle your agricultural challenges with Sukup, where innovation meets reliability. Visit sukup.com today to find a dealer near you.
1 year, 0 interest. With a qualifying seed purchase from Central Valley Ag by October 17th, you can unlock 0% financing for 1 full year on seed and crop protection. The first 10 growers to enroll this week in the CVA Go Early Seed Program will receive 100 units of free CVA Elite soybean seed treatment. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Welcome back on Sports Nightly. The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Also, Woodhouse has been a trusted partner every day since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Kyle Crooks back with you on Sports Nightly. Jessica Coody will rejoin me for the top of the second hour. No, she's not really angry at me, folks. She didn't actually kick the door in. I was just trying to be funny. But she will be back, and she will be happy with a smile. We look forward to having her back here on Sports Nightly. Damon Benning will join us in hour number 2. Also, Andrew Marshall had a chance to sit down with Jess, and we'll play you a portion of that conversation as well. Was going through my picks, my college football picks from this past weekend. We've gotten a little better. I was actually shocked I finished 7-4 in the picks, but I'm still in last place. I think overall I'm at 500. If you've been following along, my college football picks all year have been, well, the worst. And if you want to win money, you just know what I pick, and then you just pick the opposite. But I think 7-4 week, we'll take it, move forward. We're trending in the right direction because right now we are treading water when it comes to my college football picks. So not good in that regard. But what is good, hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. Again, DB is going to join us in the first segment coming up after the top of the hour. Andrew Marshall, as well as we guide you through a victorious Monday here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, You'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining built Ford tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
At Woodhouse, it's more than just buying a car. It's about the experience. Our team is dedicated to making every visit seamless, enjoyable, and personalized to your needs. Explore a wide selection of vehicles, from SUVs and sedans to trucks and luxury models, all backed by expert guidance and exceptional service. Whether it's your first car or your next upgrade, discover why generations of drivers trust Woodhouse for a truly memorable experience. Visit us at woodhouse.com today.
Good evening, I'm Brady Alderson, and the Sports Ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. Bergen Riley was named Big Ten Setter of the Week today for the 11th time in her career after another dominant weekend from the Huskers. Bergen helped set Nebraska to a .412 hitting percentage on the weekend. Riley also picked up 26 assists against Penn State and then added 15 more against Rutgers en route to Nebraska's 5th consecutive sweep. The Huskers improved to 14-0 and will head back home for a Friday matchup against the Washington Huskies. Bergen Riley wasn't the only Husker to win Big Ten honors this weekend. Deshaun Singleton was named Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week after his 6-tackle, 2-interception performance against Michigan State. It's the first time since 2021 a Husker has earned Big Ten Defensive Weekly honors, and it was also the first multi-interception game in Singleton's career. It's also the first time any Husker has had 2 interceptions in a single game since 2023. And with the 6 tackles this weekend, Singleton has moved to second on the team with 23. The Sports Ticker was brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the retirement compass. Visit StonebridgeIWM.com. Coming up next is Hour 2 of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Well, Eckley is inside his own 15. Barney at the Husker 30. Snap back to Eckley. It's blocked. Con blocked it. It's picked up. Carter Nelson. Touchdown Huskers. They came right at it. Nelson picked it up. 13-0 Scarlet and the cream. Keelan Smith, the motion man from left to right. Snap. Quick screen near left. Leaping catch from Hunter. Leaks through. Breaks an ankle tackle. There he goes. Hunter 40. 35-30. Hunter all the way. That just might be your dagger.
Back right swing by Kennedy Martin, dug by Bergen. She can do it all. 23-13 Huskers right side swing. Virginia Adriano. Kaboom! Putting dents in the rec hall deck. It's 24-13.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
And welcome back, hour number 2 of Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody, and we are glad to be welcomed in by, or to welcome in, I should say, Damon Benning, our third member of our trio here for the Huskers broadcast team. DB, how you doing this Monday evening?
Good. I actually like this weather, so I'm probably, I don't know, maybe in the minority. I love fall. It's my favorite time of the year. I like it a little overcast. I like rain. I like it cool. So I'm right at home, literally.
That's the most depressing thing I've ever heard. I understand fall temperatures, DB, but the rain, the mist, everything you said is correct until you said rain. It's the worst.
You're anti precipitation over there,
Yeah,
Casey?
we don't need any precipitation. It only brings bad things. Shoveling, snow,
Listen, there's
wet.
this thing called agriculture. It's pretty important to the state, which
It is.
rain is vital.
I should learn more about that, shouldn't I?
You probably should.
Yeah.
We never curse the rain here in Nebraska, do we, DB?
No, we need the rain.
No, we love it. Any chance we get it, we take it.
Well, DB, first win. It wasn't pretty, but hey, sometimes you got to win ugly and win by battling and fighting through some things. And I mean, there were times in the past few seasons that, and Coach Rhule even mentioned UCLA last year at halftime. It felt a little similar to that halftime, but there have been times that maybe this team doesn't find a way to win a game like that, but they stayed patient, stayed grinding, and ultimately made the plays to be able to pull this one out.
Yeah, it was tough, right? I mean, there were some times I looked at KC and I thought we were all but left for dead, right? It was, a couple minutes left in the third. Nebraska had about 77 yards total offense. The offense had been that second quarter, I'm not sure what was going on offensively. It was a struggle. And so you're right. It's been probably 11, 12 years since I think a team has kind of showed that resolve, that 2012 team. And there are some comparisons, but the reason why I think this 2025 team is different is that 2012 team did that a lot, where they kind of sleptwalk a little bit and weren't sure what kind of team they were, and then they would kind of muster it. You could maybe go back to the Ohio State game here where the fans were leaving and Coach Pelini was upset. But, Braxton Miller had gotten hurt, so it kind of changed the complexion of that game. This one, I thought Nebraska just kind of showed some resolve. And these were a lot of guys that were part of the team that wouldn't ordinarily have gotten this done, and they found a way to get it done. And then they got better since that down point. So I was pretty impressed with their resolve, and I actually came away a little more encouraged about some areas than maybe I thought I would be in a game that lacked the ebb and flow the way it did.
DB, I feel like I'm asking you the same question after the Michigan game, but we had our sort of my initial thoughts of, okay, this doesn't look good on the offensive line. And then you go back, you see the Pro Football Focus ratings, and it's a little bit different than what your perception is when you watch it live. What you've had the opportunity, I'm sure, to go back and maybe go through the film a little bit. When you evaluate the offensive line, I mean, in the moment we thought it was bad, but when you go back, maybe there were some other issues that lend themselves to a few more sacks, maybe Dylan holding on to the ball a little bit more. But overall, offensive line, where are we at there and what you saw on Saturday?
I still like the way they run block. You obviously you want to get better at all times during pass protection, and you're never a finished product. So I think in some key areas that can get better. The pass protection calls, I think, you can help yourself out there too. But I do like their run blocking. I thought early on in the preseason, spring and fall camp, I thought that could be a strength of this offensive group was their run blocking. And, when they hand it off to the running backs, it has been pretty good for the most part. And I think Emmett, statistically, his stats will show you that. From a game standpoint as it relates to Saturday, KC, I think it was a little bit of everything. There were over 30 dropbacks where I felt like Dylan had 3 or more seconds, which is about all you can ask for, I think, as a quarterback, and especially in this conference, in the Big Ten Conference. And a couple times it was, a little breakdown on the edges. I thought, a handful of times, and we saw Dylan do this a couple of times where he was like, my fault, right? That's on me, where he knows that thing should have probably come out a little quicker. And then, of course, wide receivers got to do their part, right? Is it a hot route? Is it a not hot route? Am I where I need to be in order for this thing to be delivered to me? So I think offensive line is easy, and it's kind of the low-hanging fruit. And I think what it really boils down to, guys, is so many people want to be right about their thought process about the O-line and their thoughts about Coach Rhule, and that they're not really wanting to be patient to get it right. And that's having an understanding of what's actually happening along the offensive line play. So you're going to hear a lot of banter back and forth until I think Nebraska just stands back there and gives 4 or 5 seconds. It's a clean pocket every time out, and they rush for 160 yards. So I think this may just be something that we're going to have to probably deal with going back and forth for the course of this season.
Can we remind folks too, I mean, Gunnar Gatula started at right tackle. He's been at left tackle. And yes, I know they had the bye week to work through it and they cross-train. But offensive line usually is a position that it takes time to get going, and they continue to build, and kind of, again, towards the end of the season is when they really start gelling. It takes time for them to play together. Elijah Pritchett hadn't been playing consistently at left tackle. It's been Gunnar. They've been rotating. So I think maybe give these guys a little bit of grace, too. The fact that you had one guy playing a completely different position than he had been all season. And yes, he had a bye week, but that's not, he hadn't played in a game in that position. And by the end of it, you could tell the way that they were being celebrated on the sideline. They put together some good drives there in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think, the difference between an excuse and an explanation, Jess, is accountability. And I think the offensive line wants to be accountable. At times, they can hold themselves accountable for the direct outcomes of plays. But for the most part, I look at it as a work in progress, right? Gatula missed a good portion of the offseason in terms of his strength and conditioning after the shoulder surgery. Pritchett's still working on getting acclimated, I think, to how the Big Ten Conference is attacking him. And now that he's going to get more reps under his belt, we'll continue to watch his progress and see kind of where he is. But for the amount of times that I think Dylan dropped back, which was over 30, and the amount of times he had 3 or more seconds, I think there's plenty to be encouraged about versus automatically wanting to be discouraged about kind of their growth as the season goes along.
Real quick, Kyle, just one more on that note. So the fact that Dylan has had the 3 seconds and then still got the sacks, I think there are 5 total. What does his offense need to do to be able to get him an option to throw within those 3 seconds?
Yeah, so that's kind of the game within the game, right? You want to make sure that your wide receivers are on the same page as you as the quarterback after you set that protection. And then the other thing, I think Dylan's just got to trust it sometimes where, if we're in quick game or 1, 2, 3, or that internal clock's going on in your head, sometimes it's not always about trying to make a play. Sometimes it's just getting rid of it to make sure that you can play the next one. You don't really want to run the risk of guys collapsing the pocket around you where ball security becomes an issue. Sometimes you just want to throw that thing away and try to stay on schedule as best you can and live to fight another play.
And DB, there's still questions there in terms of defending the quarterback run game, right? And we'll see that this weekend. Malik Washington is somebody who can take off, freshman, really stellar quarterback for Maryland. But you look at it, 2.2 yards per rush this weekend. We made so much about the explosive runs against Michigan, but then you line up against Michigan State, and overall, I mean, Williams-Nwaneri was a beast in this game. You also got to give some flowers to that defensive line and that front seven for what they were able to do in the run game. Have you seen the necessary adjustments and improvements, while not a finished product, that this defensive line's trending in the right direction?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. And they can only get better, or they can only control like the outcome of what they're doing next. And that was Michigan State. And you wanted to be better against Michigan State than you were Michigan. And Casey, you get it. It's so easy to say, well, they're still ranked, 88th nationally in rush defense. And sure, but they were better against Michigan State than they were Michigan. You hope that they're better against Maryland than they were against Michigan State. And the weird thing is we talked all offseason that this defense could literally be the type of defense that would get better from series to series, right? Like, that's not revisionist history. Those were actual topics that we talked about, from whether it's experience, whether it's Coach Butler and the staff, Addison Williams and Phillips and Dvorak and Braden and these guys, Addison Williams, Snow, just getting a chance to see what they have and evaluate it. So I think growth was always going to be a thing for this team in terms of what they were able to do defensively. And we knew it wasn't going to be this fast start. They had to kind of get acclimated and grow. And so they have to be really, really cognizant, KC, to make sure that they're improving incrementally from week to week and not just looking always at the bottom line. The past is the past. They can't go back and get it. What they've got to make sure and do is they get better as they go along. They're going to get a team in College Park that does not enjoy running the ball. They have not been a very good running football team. I don't think Washington really wants to run the ball as a quarterback. They are elite outside the numbers in terms of their wideouts, and he throws a good deep ball. So I don't think Maryland really wants to run the ball the way that some teams have attacked Nebraska. So I think it's another way or another week, Casey, in which they can continue to grow.
DB, it's funny, we heard Coach Rhule saying after the game how Coach Butler was even a little bit scary on the headset. I didn't have to be on the headset, and I think you guys could hear it through my microphone. He was pretty animated over there on the sideline, and he was getting after that defensive line group, and you could just tell he's just pushing them to a high. He just has these high expectations, and from play in and play out, even though they were really good the series before, if the next series they weren't as good at, he was going to let them know about it. And so it's just pretty interesting to watch him work on the sideline on Saturday and just how involved he was. And just there's one point he's like, "I'm done playing Mr. Nice Guy. If you don't do your job, you're not going to play." And I think guys responded to that.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing for Coach Butler is he knows that this team, from an experience standpoint, even his own experience overseeing a collegiate defensive unit, they were always going to be a work in progress. So you're not a finished product. And I think for him, it's all about the growth, right? I mean, when you take a look at kind of where Nebraska is defensively, a scoring defense and what opponents are doing per play. Like, they've been pretty good. And I think for them, are they where they want to be? Absolutely not. But are they getting better? You betcha. And the direction that they want to trend in is to continue to not give up points, in terms of what they're doing per play and how they're allowing opponents to finish or to get points or not get points once they cross the 50-yard line. We had a coach around here a handful of years ago that had this famous answer. Then he said, "It's not about yards, ma'am. It's about points." And that was to a radio show that you and I and KC may or may not be doing currently. Very similar format. And I think for Coach Butler, when he looks at this defense, he can't go back and get week 1. He can't go back and get week 2. He can't go back and replay Michigan. What he can try to do is continually try to get better each week. And I think that's the goal.
When I look at one-score games, year 3, Matt Rhule, how does that turn around? I wrote down 3 areas on my chart, DB, these colorful charts that I have.
It almost flew out the window multiple times on Saturday.
I love those.
These almost ended up in on the field.
Almost souvenirs for fans.
+6 turnover margin. Penalties, your top 15 in the country. Special teams, I think special teams ratings top 15 in the country. Those are 3 areas. If I came to you and I said those 3 are going to be near the tops in the nation, you would say what? I mean, that's pretty remarkable. That sets up a team that is now equipped, at least more equipped, to win one-score games in Big Ten play.
Yeah, absolutely. And that dog will absolutely hunt. And when you take a look at, you combine that with special teams defense, their inability to not give up big passing plays, which ultimately is, I think, is quietly a key stat in college football. When you want to look at championship caliber runs and teams that make playoffs, they don't allow balls to be thrown over their head. And so I think, Nebraska's top 3 in opponent completion percentage. I mean, it's right around 48%. So I get it. You want to be a complete defensive team, and you want to stop the run, and you want to defend the pass, and you want to take the ball away, and you want to do all those things. But I think, Nebraska is really trying to gear this thing to play the long game. You're going to play a team in Maryland who doesn't want to line it up and tank it at you. You're on the road, so you want to be able to win with special teams. Check that box. You want to take care of the ball. They've been able to check that box. Now, you are going to have to, at some point, hunker down and be able to stop the run. But as they've gotten into conference play, when you look at Michigan and Michigan State, they're definitely trending in the right direction. And the discipline is a big part of it.
How crazy that this is pretty much the first road game of the season.
Yeah.
You have a restaurant picked out, DB?
And we're going to be there for 3 days.
Yeah, which is incredible. It's almost, I don't know, I was kind of depressed at first. I think I'm going to snap out of it as long as we get to hang out and maybe get some good food. But, it will be different. I think this will be the first time Nebraska's fan base will be outnumbered. I think they'll get a good turnout at College Park for Maryland. It's not some daunting home field advantage for them, I don't think. And Nebraska fans do travel well, but you've got to assume there'll be more Maryland fans. But, listening to his press conference this morning, the travel details, they don't leave any stones unturned, do they? I mean, blood flow on the planes, the body clock, the walking around, the getting the food, how to spend your downtime. Like, you can tell they've thought a lot about this, and them picking the travel brains of those that have been out to College Park before, just one more notch that they try to pull off to make sure that they've covered all their bases when they get ready for what you just said, and I believe it's accurate, their first real road game.
College football, the craziness around the country. You watch it all. I mean, you're watching a million games while calling. I mean, you can do a lot of things at once, but you know this. You know college football inside out, and what we saw this past weekend, it continues to astonish many. I think none more surprising than what we saw out west with UCLA and Penn State, and more the seat, I guess, for fans is hot for James. James Franklin, I think that conversation is ridiculous for how consistent he's been.
I agree with you.
I mean, that's a ridiculous conversation. but just how crazy has it been and hard to predict.
Yeah, that's why, sometimes I look around and I always have to remind myself, okay, did we win? Because every week in college football, it just seems like when you ask that question out loud, you're so surprised at how many teams answer no. It's winning is tough. And whether you're Texas or you're Penn State or you're Clemson or some of these teams, yes, Iowa State, who ran into a buzz. So I think that Cincinnati team's pretty good. A couple of weeks ago when Illinois at home beats a good USC team, Kyle, winning is hard. And we want the perfect everything. We want the perfect offense, the perfect defense, the perfect special teams. And I think when we start embracing the fact that this team is not perfect and it goes right along with the landscape of college football, the goal is to win and move on. There is no perfect team out there. I think we'll be a lot happier in terms of what we can celebrate as a finished product. And, they've got to do their part and hold up their end of it. There's a little trepidation, right, in going to College Park. It's the first road game. But you're right. It is very, very difficult to win in college football.
Style points don't matter anymore. As long as you get the W. I feel like some people think, you've got to, put it on teams, but those days are done. As long as you have those W's racked up at the end, that's what's most important. It doesn't matter what those W's look like as long as they're W's.
Yeah, and we've proven. To get to the college football playoffs, nobody cares about playing how many ranked opponents you played or beaten. The goal is to stack wins, and I think the sooner we get accustomed to that, and it doesn't mean you have to settle in the meantime. You just have to trust your staff that they're continually trying to get better week in, week out. But man, college, it is. You look at the NFL, just sports in general. I'm sure the Bills didn't plan on that happening. Last night, we saw 5 NFL games where teams came back from down 10 points or more. Just take the W's and move on.
You've been to Maryland, or have you been to the stadium?
I have not been to this stadium. I have seen the Ravens play, so I was right down the road, but I have not been to College Park, Maryland. This will be a new one for me.
I think BMAC's the only one who's been there.
Yep. So Kyle and I are right there with you.
Oh, right. Gosh, can you imagine? We got to rely on Benny Mac. We're in trouble.
I trust him more than I trust you to navigate us through this thing.
That's awesome. Thanks.
DB, I want a good.
I'll just find the good food.
I want a good crab cake spot out of you.
Ooh, that sounds.
I got you.
Really
That's what
good.
my sister used to live in Centerville.
I love crab cakes.
Not too far from there. Very familiar with that area. So I'll take good care of you.
Yeah, find us a good crab cake spot. I agree.
You got it.
All right. Thanks for being here. We'll see you on Thursday.
Thank you, DB.
Anytime. We'll see you soon.
That's Damon Benning joining us here on Sports Nightly. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. More coming up after this.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
You show up for every Husker game because it's about more than football. It's about celebrating that Nebraska grit that's in our DNA. That same drive pushes you to get stronger, move more, and take care of yourself. To show up for the people and moments that matter most. We believe you have what it takes. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska covers preventive care with every plan. And our digital tools help you stay on track every step of the way. Blue believes in what you're made of. And Blue believes in you.
Reliable energy service wherever you need it. Whether it's propane, fuels, or lubricants, Central Valley Ag delivers with reliability and care you can count on. From your farm to your home or your business, CVA Energy is your trusted partner for agricultural, commercial, and residential energy solutions. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Hey, Husker fans, every grower's got that game-winning play. Maybe it's upgrading that old pivot, switching up the play with smart tech, or controlling water like a pro. Valley Irrigation's putting $100,000 on the line to back 2 growers ready to score big. This is your chance to get that $75K or $25K irrigation grant, plus a $50 parts or service voucher just for logging in. Don't sit on the sidelines. Visit valleyirrigation.com/Huskers. That's valleyirrigation.com/Huskers.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Visit a participating AGCO dealer between September 8th and October 31st and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Nebraska-Iowa football game on November 28th in Lincoln, plus a pregame tailgate experience. Don't miss your shot to be a part of the action. See True Turf and Ag in Osmond, Columbus, and Fall City or Osceola Implement to enter. It's easy, it's free, and you could be cheering on the Huskers in person this season. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining built Ford tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole: Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive. From enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management, Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
As the world's largest family-owned and operated manufacturer of grain storage, drying, and handling equipment, Sukup Manufacturing Company has led the way in innovation, offering top-quality products that empower farmers to thrive. Get ready to tackle your agricultural challenges with Sukup, where innovation meets reliability. Visit sukup.com today to find a dealer near you.
Reliable energy service wherever you need it. Whether it's propane, fuels, or lubricants, Central Valley Ag delivers with reliability and care you can count on. From your farm to your home or your business, CVA Energy is your trusted partner for agricultural, commercial, and residential energy solutions. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. Jessica Coody here with Kyle Crooks. And Kyle, I mean, people made a big deal about it, but hey, we are now 5 games into it. Nebraska's still the number 1 pass defense in the country.
How about that? And you've played some pretty good quarterbacks. Aiden Childs is a guy that some might have in that first round conversation when it's all said and done. You've played a phenom in Bryce Underwood, and Brendan Sorsby's been one of the better quarterbacks in the country. What a win for Cincinnati over the weekend. So it's not like you've played some lower level FBS quarterbacks. You played some of the cream of the crop, including in your league, and whether it's been Sierra Wright, who's bumped into the nickel and he's made that transition really well. Donovan Jones, who's jumped in as a starting corner, all with the injury to Malcolm Hartzog. And then you have a guy like Andrew Marshall, who's taken that huge step up to FBS from Idaho. And boy, he's been one of the better players on this defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Rhule really bragged on the addition that he's been. He has been a huge part of the reason why this pass defense has been what it is. And Andrew Marshall was this week's Cornhusker Conversation, going to play you a portion of that conversation here now. How has it been fitting in with those guys, the Marquise Buford, Deshaun Singleton, Malcolm Hartzog? What's it been like getting in with those guys and building the bonds with those guys?
It's been dope. I'd probably say we got the most personality on the team. DB's definitely got the most personality. So, practice, you gonna see us, you gonna hear us. Like, we bring that energy, and it's always fun. It's always simple talking through film because we all love football. So just getting things corrected is easy. Just checks is easy. So it's been a great time.
So if the DBs have the best personality, who's number 2 then? I would probably say the wide receivers might argue with you on that.
I can't. I'll probably say that. That's a good question. 2, I'll probably say, linebackers or receivers.
Okay. How about Addison Williams? How has he been? What has he done for your game?
He's helped me a lot. Just nitpicking at my game. Helping me focusing on just taking one step at a time, focusing on one thing at a time. He's able to see things that I might not see, and he bounces it off to me so I can allow me to focus on that. So he's been a very big help for me.
So you weren't always a defensive back. As good as you are at the position, it wasn't your first. You were actually a wide receiver first, right?
Yeah, I did play receiver.
You were set on being a wide receiver, right?
Yeah, I thought I was going to be a receiver. It didn't pan out, but it didn't pan out for the best, really. I think it just put me in a better position. My junior year, I thought I was going to be a receiver. So I went into the season thinking I was going to be a receiver. My DB coach at the time, he played here, Josh Mitchell. He told me, he's like, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. You're going to be DB, bro. And, at first, I wasn't really trying to hear that. I waved him off. But, as the time progressed through the season and, I started playing DB, it just, felt natural to me and it was easy for me. So, I just took a chance on it and put me in the best position.
What do you think he saw in you that he said, you're a DB?
Just this my size, my frame, physicality, my ball skills. Because, when I was a receiver, I was an athlete, so I was able to, I'm going for the fade ball. So, just my ability to, go and attack the ball, just all those things included. He was like, bro, you need to play DB.
I know, you were obviously at Idaho, electric in the return game, make plays there. Just the growing up and playing wide receiver, how much has that helped you as you made the transition to playing DB, but then also what you're able to do in the other areas of the game?
Major. I think, going from receiver to DB has been big for me because I'm able to understand, I'm able to knock things off of my list when I'm guarding a receiver, just depending on his release, the speed he's running, where he's lined up at. So it's able to help me, be more detailed in my game and, shut off routes and things like that quicker.
So you mentioned Josh Mitchell. Did you talk to him before you came to Nebraska?
I didn't talk to him. He actually didn't know that I got offered from Nebraska until I had just kind of made my top 3 decision on where I was deciding. So he was surprised by it.
I'm sure excited though.
Yeah,
right?
he was for sure. He was like, man, he's a Nebraskan, for real, a black shirt for real. So he was like, man, if you go here, I'm on that, So You know, it was a great experience talking to him. You know, he talked to me and just, you know, made it clear in my mind just what to expect. It helped me out a lot.
How thankful are you now? You look back at that conversation that you didn't want to hear at first when he said you're a DB. That now look where it got you. How thankful are you for that?
I'm very thankful. You know, it definitely helped me like pan out my path clearly. You know, I was able to focus on getting better at one thing. You know, just playing DB, I was able to get better, and you know, it allowed me to you know, get to that route of success. Really, where I'm at right now.
I know you come from a family that has played a lot of football at a high level, but it was a process, right, for you to find your own love for the game?
A little bit. I feel like for me, you know, just being surrounded by that many just ball players, you know, I grew up loving the game. You know, I watched my uncles, all my uncles, my cousins, everybody. We played sports, so like growing up, it was kind of just like shoot, like I see them doing it, I'm gonna pick up, I'm good at it. You know, I love it. You know, who doesn't love something that they're good at? Did you though,
has it been a process though for you to be all in on the sport? Like, I mean, or were you always all in on football?
I feel like, you know, at certain times, you know, just the strain and the sacrifice and everything that comes with football, you know, at times, when I was younger, you know, it's just like kind of like, dang, you know, it's kind of like a tough feeling, but you know, I really grew to love the game, and you know, I felt like, you know, me and football, we were one. You know, we won.
Again, that was Andrew Marshall as part of this week's Cornhusker Conversation presented by Woodhouse. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I looked up there before the very last Michigan State offensive drive, and I believe it was like 97 pass yards. Yeah. Like they were still under 100 before that last drive.
Yeah, they finally got, and that was with their backup quarterback, right? I believe Alessio Milivojevic had some yardage late in that game. So, yeah, I mean, credit to this defense. It's the first team that's thrown for over 100 yards. They allowed a 20-plus yard pass play for the first time. I think it was on that final drive to the tight end. It was like a 24-yard connection.
The first touchdown reception of the season?
Yes, first touchdown allowed from this defense. So there's a lot of firsts, and that's pretty incredible, that being the 5th game of the year, 2nd conference game of the year. This is what we said the strength of the defense was going to be, and sometimes it never comes to fruition that what you think's going to happen actually happens. And in this case, for the Black Shirts, we knew that this was the most veteran-laden group, and even with some injuries with Hartzog going down and being out the last 3 games, it's been really, really impressive.
And that was one thing too that Coach Rhule had talked about after the game, was the fact that you know, they had it in hand, and they were not happy that they gave up the touchdown at the end of the game. You know, they have these different kind of standards that, you know, Sierra Wright was up there challenging. And you also brought this up too. I mean, they've been able to do that, rotating guys in, especially in the secondary. It's not like it's been the same 5 guys there the entire time either, which also speaks to the depth and talent they have in that room.
Yeah, and we heard Coach Rhule talk today about just look at the future of what we might have in the secondary. He mentioned Amari Sanders by name, a guy who hasn't played a whole lot this year, but he's going to be front and center in the secondary because there are a lot of guys in their last year of eligibility, so there's going to be some transition and turnover that takes place, but they're really confident in the depth. You look at somebody at the safety position in Rex Guthrie, who I believe got the start, and you know, Caleb Benning, obviously Damon's kid, and what his upside can be. There's a lot of guys that you look at and you're incredibly impressed with. And you know, Jeremiah Charles, I think, is probably one of the better athletes on the team. We haven't seen a whole lot of him at the cornerback spot. So behind the veterans, you have a lot of young guys that are building that foundation for the future in the secondary.
You can listen to that full conversation with Andrew Marshall out now on our podcast platforms, our YouTube channel as well. Got to step aside for a break. More of the show coming up after this.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Since 1975, Woodhouse has proudly served our customers and communities. From one dealership to over 21 dealerships across Nebraska and Iowa, our promise remains the same. A wide selection of vehicles, trusted service, and financing that fits your life. We believe in honest people, fair prices, and relationships built to last. Because it's not just about the road ahead, it's about traveling it together. Start your journey at woodhouse.com.
You show up for every Husker game because it's about more than football. It's about celebrating that Nebraska grit that's in our DNA. That same drive pushes you to get stronger, move more, and take care of yourself. To show up for the people and moments that matter most. We believe you have what it takes. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska covers preventive care with every plan. And our digital tools help you stay on track every step of the way. Blue believes in what you're made of. And Blue believes in you.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
As the world's largest family-owned and operated manufacturer of grain storage, drying, and handling equipment, Sukup Manufacturing Company has led the way in innovation, offering top-quality products that empower farmers to thrive. Get ready to tackle your agricultural challenges with Sukup, where innovation meets reliability. Visit sukup.com today to find a dealer near you.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play, knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This fall, be ready for every tailgate, touchdown, and adventure in a perfect car, truck, or SUV from Sid Dillon Chevrolet. Visit us in Blair, Crete, Fremont, or Wahoo and shop Nebraska's #1 volume Chevy dealer group. We're also your Chevrolet Business Elite dealer, offering medium-duty trucks and low-cab forwards. Visit us at SidDillonChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
At Woodhouse, it's more than just buying a car. It's about the experience. Our team is dedicated to making every visit seamless, enjoyable, and personalized to your needs. Explore a wide selection of vehicles, from SUVs and sedans to trucks and luxury models, all backed by expert guidance and exceptional service. Whether it's your first car or your next upgrade, discover why generations of drivers trust Woodhouse for a truly memorable experience. Visit us at woodhouse.com today.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back. Just got a final couple of short segments left here on this Monday night edition with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. Stepping aside from the fall sports talk, the single game tickets for basketball, men's basketball, are now officially on sale. So huskers.com/tickets. And you can get those single game tickets now. They also still have those mini plans, the starting 5 mini plans. Those are also still available if you want to choose your 5-game package. But certainly if you just want to start picking out those single game tickets, you can now do that. You can call the ticket office or go huskers.com/tickets. And we are now less than 2 weeks away from that exhibition game with BYU.
Crazy. And it's a great opponent to start it out. Although the result doesn't necessarily matter, the tape matters. And BYU's a really good team. So opportunity here in a short amount of time to get out to PBA and watch this team go along with the women too, and watch both teams, who should be really good.
Yeah, not a lot of times do you get the chance to have, an opponent like this in exhibition. Sometimes it can be more of a tune-up, a scrimmage, but BYU is absolutely a quality opponent. And, it's diving into some prep with them. And they obviously have the #1 recruit in the nation. So it's going to be a good test. And I think it's also a big recruiting weekend. And they're hoping for a big crowd out there for that exhibition game coming up October 18th.
Yeah, didn't they get the top recruits like a $7 million NIL deal with BYU?
Yeah, something crazy.
They have some real money.
Yeah.
Out there.
For their basketball team, for sure. Well, their basketball team's been good. They've been teams that I don't know. I think you could probably look to BYU and maybe one of the top bracket busters in history, right?
Yeah.
They're always in it. They always seem to be, winning games that maybe people pick against them. So they're just a consistent team, I feel like, in that postseason.
Yeah, and so that'll be a good test, sort of a litmus test. And I know we're getting set to wrap up this segment, but it looks like the NCAA tournament is going to expand once again. I think probably 76 teams seems to be the number. I was looking at it. So somebody did a first 4 out. If they expanded, Nebraska still would have been the first 4 out last year had it been a 76-team tournament. But it looks like it's going to expand a little bit more. And the madness is growing. I know a lot of people are not huge fans of that news.
Nick Handley is definitely not a fan.
I think there's a lot. I think he's in the majority.
He's a very passionate advocate of against expanding the field of the NCAA tournament. Speaking of Nick, he's going to be filling in for us on Thursday night here on the show as we travel to Maryland. All right, got to get to a break. We're back to wrap up the show next.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office. But I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back. Sports Nightly final segment here, and we always like to close out the show on Mondays with our weekend winners. Kyle Crooks, Camden Cohn here with us. Camden, you want to go first?
Sure. Kyle's going to like this one. I'm going with Blue Jays pitcher Trey Yesavage. Yesterday, he went 5 1/3 innings, no hits, no runs, 1 walk, struck out 11 against the Yankees, a postseason franchise record, and the second pitcher with 10 strikeouts and 0 hits allowed in a game in postseason history.
You're fired.
Damon told me in the booth on Saturday, I asked him what the score was. I wanted a score update. He said it was a 2-run game. Somebody sent me a screenshot after he said that it was 10-1 Toronto. So he lied straight to my face. And then I watched the game yesterday. They were down 10-0. And I shut it off, and they came back a little bit, lost 13-7. But, well, this is your season now. You go back to New York, get it to Schlittler in Game 4, tie it up, and force a Game 5 back in Toronto. Am I up now?
You're up. 1 minute left.
I'm done with
60 seconds.
Camden. Jerry Neuheisel, OC, UCLA, Rick's son, 11 years to the day when he was carried off the field as UCLA's quarterback with the OC beating Penn State.
Dang it, that's what I was going to go with. So
I can give you one. Do I want to give you one?
I'll give you. How about the Florida Gators? And you didn't pick them.
I know. Unfortunate.
They beat Texas. I think that's a win for everybody around here when Texas gets beat. And so we all were joking in the group chat that we'll sacrifice the point for Texas to get beat. And the 1 week you don't pick them, they actually get in the win column.
I think I shouldn't pick them from here on out. They got A&M this week. Of course, Josh, being a bad friend, put him back on the picks. How about Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones, another pick because the Colts are Super Bowl bound, baby. Another win.
Super Bowl champs right here. All right, that's going to do it for us here tonight. Coming up tomorrow night, live volleyball show. So we got a full 2 hours coming up for you tonight or tomorrow night here on Sports Nightly. Have a great night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At Hogemeyer, we're raising the bar on yield performance, bringing world-class traits and genetics to these local fields with the exceptional corn rootworm control and proven powerful yields of new Vorceed-enlist corn. The unsurpassed flexibility and protection against above-ground pests with PowerCore enlist corn. And other next-gen corn hybrids built to perform and boost your yields. It's time to raise a better crop. View Hogemeyer products at therightseed.com.
As the world's largest family-owned and operated manufacturer of grain storage, drying, and handling equipment, Sukup Manufacturing Company has led the way in innovation, offering top-quality products that empower farmers to thrive. Get ready to tackle your agricultural challenges with Sukup, where innovation meets reliability. Visit sukup.com today to find a dealer near you.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and